12 years ago, there were 3 planes. All of them were taken over by terrorists. 2 of them were crashed into the Twin Towers in New York, and the other was headed for Washington, D.C. to cause harm there as well. But the terrorist plane fell. This was one of the hardest things for our country. This happened in 2001, but it's still remembered to this day, because it was one of the most heartbreaking accidents in American history. Today it is known as 9/11. Now the government has taken action by putting in different ways to scan passengers to know for sure that dangerous things will not happen to people on planes again. The solution the government came up with are these new security scanners. These new scanners are very good, that you should no longer be worried about getting on a plane, but the scanners. I will be informing you about these new scanners. According to ProPublica.org, you are able to see everything under a passenger's clothes, which could be good until there's that one person that uses it the wrong way. But with these scanners, no one is able to sneak a gun or a knife onto the plane. But again, you can see everything. First, I will be going over the problems of these airport scanners. Then I will go over what causes these problems. And finally, I will go over the solutions for the scary airport scanners. When you're going to the airport, what part do you dread? I dread going through security. With the security, there are many problems. One problem is how long it takes. The reason it takes so long is because of the security scanners. These scanners that, according to TSA.org, would make the airport security be quicker and not dangerous, have done the opposite. These scanners take at least 1 minute for each passenger, and 1 minute is not that long until there is an average of 50 to 70 people per flight and about 1,912 flights a day, and a total of 95,600 people going through security. You could have to wait for an hour. These scanners allow the people checking them to see everything. These scanners are very helpful and beneficial to the airport until someone uses them the wrong way or until someone gets sick from the scanner. What kind of sick, you're probably asking? Well, the scanners put off radiation, and radiation can lead to cancer. TSA.gov says that when people are being scanned inside these scanners, that they are being exposed to radiation. So, though you are able to see under people's clothes so that nothing can be done to sneak something onto a plane, you could be exposed to something very dangerous in your life. But what should we do? Is it okay to let people be exposed to radiation, or should we downgrade to scanners that might not be as good, but do not put off radiation? And we're giving and taking some here, but which is more important? Is it the individual safety or the safety of a plane with approximately 60 people on board? Now we'll talk about the causes. The reason it takes a long time is because of the way the scanners are checked. How long do you think it should take for them to check each person? Well, this depends on what you think. Should they make it faster and not as safe for the other passengers, or should they make it take at least 1 minute like they do? Because though it takes longer, it is safer because someone is less likely to sneak something on board. Because 1 minute isn't that long until you have approximately 1.8 million people going through security every day. And 1 minute could be the difference between you missing your flight or not. But again, it's because of how the systems are being checked. They could overprotect or not protect enough. And does the way we are doing it right now work all the time? Not exactly. The reason they are dangerous is because of the radiation. Radiation is the emission of energy as electromagnetic waves or as moving subatomic particles, especially high energy particles that cause ionizing. The energy is being transmitted by radiation. The forms of radiation are as heat, light, and electricity. In this case of the scanners, radiation is being transmitted through electrical radiation. Electrical radiation is the most dangerous kind of radiation, and it is the kind being exposed to the people through these scanners. Electrical radiation can cause different types of cancer, including skin cancer and brain cancer, and it can also lead to diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So what can we do about these scanners? Should we remove them and have it not be as dangerous, but not as good scanners? Or should we keep them because of how good they work, but keep allowing people to be exposed to radiation? What could you do? You could personally stop using these scanners. I understand that everyone needs to fly, and the only way you can get on a plane is going through security in the scanners. But the one thing that you could do is ask for them to use the wand. The wand is used to detect metal. It is a handheld device. It looks like a thin but wide stick. It puts off no radiation, but it isn't as good, but it would get the job done. It isn't as good because, say you have a replacement knee, and there's metal in that replacement knee. The wand would detect the metal and begin to beep. This beeping could cause a panic, which could take you longer to get to your flight, though you're not being exposed to radiation. Or what could we do? We could all talk to our senator, and then we might be able to raise enough money to start research for scanners that are just as good but not as harmful. If we all work together to try to push the government to change all these scanners around the country, we could do it. It's just like cancer research. We just have to raise enough money to get the research started for scanners that are as good, if not better, than the ones we have right now, but don't put off as much radiation. And then, if we are able to get new and improved scanners that do not put off radiation, our airports would not only be more safe in the air, but they would also be safer for individuals passing through security. To recap, the airport scanners are very harmful, but the downside is they're dangerous. Are very beneficial, but the downside is they're very dangerous. They do what they're supposed to, but they also can harm people. 9/11 is probably the worst thing that has happened to our country recently, and these scanners are the reason we don't have tragic things happening anymore. What do you think we should do about these scanners? Do you like them?